We sincerely apologize for bringing the program a bit behind schedule. It was due to some circumstances beyond our control. We are here now, here to discuss front page living stories on some select newspapers. My name is Winnie Frederick, and with me in the studio is our middle guest. He is a triple chief, as I love to call him. He is a syndicated columnist, a TV host, and a public address columnist. It's always a pleasure to have you on the program. I
Same
can
here.
see that you are looking so good. Seems that the situation in the country has not affected you so much.
They said happiness is free. Even if it's biting, the show must go on. One cannot come on here and lament all the time. We all are in need.
You have to
And in
motivate
as well
yourself.
as we have not had the opportunity to jackpot, so we have to live it through.
Yeah.
So it's about mental health. Something happened. Somebody just shared with me this morning the concerns that what's going on now is causing a lot of mental health challenge to many Nigerians, including depression,
Mm.
and that is worrisome.
It
People are
is,
not
it
looking
is.
at that social angle. People are just saying, "Oh, he doesn't have money on him."
Mm.
He does. People are frustrated. You can see
Yeah.
people stripping naked
Mm.
in banking
Right.
halls, all in the name of just, you know, letting out their anger. So,
Mm.
this is
And we even
unprecedented.
heard of one who slumped and died.
Oh, I
The
didn't even
queue,
know
the
that.
bank, yes,
Yeah,
in the office.
the
Last week,
protest, now has been taken to the streets in
attitude
Ogun
is straight.
State, in
And it's even taken to
Oyo
the
State.
banker's home. Did you see the fallout video of the man who stripped naked? The son and his, I don't know, friends or colleagues attacked the
The
female banker
banker,
in the
okay.
bank
So
and
you
said,
can
"Oh,
see,
you allowed my dad to strip naked," and they
you, you,
tormented
you,
the woman. They
see,
even removed the tire from her car and said they were going to sell it.
Benin CBN office has been
Mm,
shut
mm.
because of
It's
fear.
terrible.
And this is
And
unwarranted.
in Abiyakuta, they were even trying to set the blank ablaze while one of them was shot.
Yeah,
The process
I
was trying
think
to
in
set it.
Ibadan they burnt down a police station. Very unfortunate
Very,
development.
very unfortunate.
God help
It's
us.
sad. Well, because the papers are washed with the latest story this morning, developing story actually on this narrative scarcity. We are starting with leadership. Leadership is leading with the story. Cash crunch, no end in sight as PNB governors CBN keep more. Cash crunch, no end in sight as PNB governors CBN keep more. Federal government fingers opposition parties in Naira swap deal crisis. CBN won't be used to thwart 2023 polls, says Emefiele. Tinubu appeals for calm over few Naira scarcity, one key in Ogun riots. I'll take leadership's leading story once again. Cash crunch, no end in sight as PNB governor CBN keep more. Federal government fingers opposition parties in Naira swap crisis. CBN would be used to thwart 2023 polls, says Emefiele. Tinubu appeals for calm over fear Naira scarcity, one key in Ogun riot. Same leading story on all the papers. Let me go over to Vanguard. Vanguard says Naira fear scarcity, elections we hold as planned, NSA. Naira fuel scarcity, elections we hold as planned, NSA. We won't be used to derail general elections, CBN assures INEC. Promises to make cash available to electoral umpire. Buhari meets Emefiele, Tambuwa, Bagudu over Naira scarcity. CBN to make profound pronouncement Friday. That is just 2 days away. We are waiting with bated breath for that CBN announcement. And going over to the Punch. The Punch says Naira crisis may disrupt polls. INEC warns Emefiele, NSA. The Punch. Naira crisis may disrupt polls. INEC warns Emefiele, NSA. Some of our service providers have no bank accounts. Commission laments. Buhari governors meeting shelved. Minister says president's hands tied. Banks shut branches over customers' attacks. CBN calls for calm. Naira crisis may disrupt polls. INEC warns Emefiele, NSA. Some of our service providers have no bank accounts. Commission laments. Buhari governors meeting shelved. Minister says president's hands tied. Banks shut branches over customers' attacks. CBN calls for calm. Still on Naira scarcity, these days leading with the story, Naira scarcity, Buhari, Bagudu, Tambuwa, Emefiele, Bawa meet seek solution. Naira scarcity, Buhari, Bagudu, Tambuwa, Emefiele, Bawa meet, seek solution. President cancels meeting with NGF over Supreme Court action. CBN has no plan to thwart polls with naira shortage, says Apex Bank governor. Federal government blames opposition for politicizing policy. CBN has disbursed over 1 billion naira to banks in Edo in 3 days, state government reveals. Ganduje alleges plot to disrupt democracy. TUC gives federal government 7-day ultimatum to address currency fuel shortages. And still on this day, there's a story actually beneath the masthead, just above the leading story. It says PDP, APC candidate holding cash, causing Nigerians pains. Tinubu opposition creating national siege to disrupt elections. Hold me, my family responsible if I fail to perform, Obi declares. I'll prioritize education, security. Kwankwaso reiterates commitment. That's the leading story. And also we have the nation. The nation says Naira scarcity sparks protest. Naira scarcity sparks protest. Benin CBN office bank branches shut. Protesters block Benin Ore Road. Buhari meets Tambuwa Bagudu in Mefele. Of course, you can see pictures on the front page of the nation with protesters setting ablaze some tires and on the road while we protest.
Well, what should I say?
You
I mean,
laugh
maybe it's a good distraction because for almost 8
but
months,
we have just how many days now to
wait,
election?
for the first time, we have something that displaces Wiki
Yes.
from the headlines.
On the headline.
Because since June, every day, most of the newspapers with Wiki said this, Wiki said that, Wiki abused this,
PDP
Wiki
reply.
PDP reply.
No.
So now we have more urgent things that are of more urgent national importance, and all of us are involved. Now, I was telling you behind the scene how much I'm worth as I sit here. you know, there is a saying that the big rope does not make a big man.
The big rope.
A big rope, a big dress,
Rope.
a rope does not make a big man. We're all in this together. I've narrated my frustrations on Facebook a couple of weeks ago, and the situation hasn't improved. Everyone is in it. I've been trying to make an online transaction for 5 days now. The bank is not available.
Is it the same bank that we are
Well,
using?
I don't want to mention names of bank here, but the bottom line is, this is ill-timed, to say the least.
It is.
And I feel this is sabotage. This is the economic sabotage. And Governor Emefiele
When Nigerians are not finding this
and the
funny.
president should be held responsible for this. Because the president admitted that he gave the approval for this when he was interviewed. So Emefiele wasn't just acting on the CBN Act. Look, when Buhari changed the currency in 1984, it was at the beginning. It was at the beginning of his administration. Why will you do this on your way out? On the twilight of your administration? And I said somewhere yesterday, the president has an economic team who are being paid from the taxpayers' purse. Assuming without conceding that it was even the president that approached Emefiele or Emefiele that approached the president, whoever approached each other for this, was it balanced? Was this advice balanced with the economic team for input? Because I find it difficult, my sister. When the president signed the Petroleum Industry Act in the last quarter, I think September or August of 2021,
Yes.
they deliberately suspended a portion of that law which asks that the subsidy should be removed and the PMS should be fully deregulated. And they said for 18 months. Why did they do so? So that the price of PMS will not snowball
Mm.
to cause disaffection and social unrest, the kind of which we are now seeing with naira shortage. I mean, ask yourself, what can't we endure that makes this of imperative? They said the last time they did it was 19 years ago. So must you do it now?
And at the end of the day, the process, the
You
reason they gave that, oh, they want to curtail or curb, prevent vote buying. At the end of the day, the politicians are beating them to it, because we've seen stories or reports of some bank managers taking some money
to politicians.
So
The
them has
politician,
been defeated.
exactly.
So
You
many
cannot
are of the
even
opinion
say
that
that
they
is the
should-
way you want to avoid fight vote buying. Because, see, I
Because
have been.
MFLA said they disbursed this money earlier on, maybe in November, and these banks were still disbursing old money. You
And
go
what
to
what did
ATMs,
they
you
do?
even
Did
go
they
to their
monitor?
banking hall.
Did
Yes,
they
did not
monitor?
monitor.
They did not monitor until
Yes.
middle of January
Middle or even
or third week of January.
Third
Now,
week of January.
if you were disbursing and your monitoring team did not see new cash being dispensed since December 15th, what did you do? You kept quiet for over 1 month and subject people to iron experience. And for me, I was saying yesterday somewhere, I said, look, I don't want to buy into conspiracy theory, but it will seem that this is like somebody, after fetching water in a river, decided to pollute the river. Because this president is on his way out. He's counting down. May 29 is just 3 months away. Less than 100 days or thereabout. He will be an ex-president. What legacy? And you know, in the memory of human being, let me tell you this, Winifred. If you feed somebody, if you are giving somebody money for 50 years,
and you don't feed the person,
and one day after 50 years, you say you should have been independent, he will say, what did he do? Even in those 50 years, how much was he giving me? People only know what they eat now. No matter the beauty of this policy, it is ill-timed. And they should have, if they built their scenarios, okay, look at it. The unbanked Nigerians are more than the banked Nigerians. There are even some of us who have bank accounts that is dormant.
It's true.
I have about 2 or 3 accounts where they have been reminding me.
Me too.
So you cannot even use the number of account opened as a yardstick, because many bank accounts are dormant. Okay, so you if you have those statistics, what did you do with it? The unbanked, how do you intend? Look, in Bauchi, armed robbers were laid. Some people who are trying to bring cash for swapping. They made away with about 7 million. It's the Bauchi state government that says he will now have to pay back those people, because that's what they are living on. Now, in Yobe, 2 local government as banks out of 17 local government. In Borno, only about out of 23 local government, maybe half of that as banks. In fact, there are places where you have banks where the banks cannot open because of activities of bandits. Now, in Kaduna, governor of Kaduna State told us that 2 local government in Kaduna do not have any banks. So how do you want to serve these people? You are asking us to go cashless. Must it be by fire, by force? And I've drawn parallel. I said, look, Winifred, you and I are in this country in 2020. Thank God that we survived COVID-19. Minister Pantami, Issa Pantami, was telling us that everyone must be registered with NIMSI, NIN, even during COVID-19. And many of us challenged him and said, look, this is a wrong-headed policy. You are compromising public health. People have to go and queue. And when there should be physical distancing, in fact, in the process, some staff of NIMSI allegedly, reportedly contracted COVID-19. Today, how is NIN registration done? Seamlessly. If you want to get driving license or you want to get international passport, They will just ask you for your name. If you don't have, they say, go there. They just point the next office to you. Go and do your name registration. It's been highly decentralized. Do you know this, the solution to this catch front? Just say there's no more deadline.
Yes.
If you say there's no more deadline, today is 8th.
Yes.
No more deadline, the tension will crash.
Yes.
People who have old currency will bring it out, and in as far as they can transfer.
Yes.
Look, I was at a workshop yesterday, and we were doing comparative analysis. And somebody asked the question, in Germany, when they changed from Deutschmark to Euro, 3 years was given to Germans to swap. In UK, 2 years was given to after the death of Queen Elizabeth to swap into the King Charles. They have 2 years to do that. And in America, somebody said even the old American dollar is still being accepted. Pari passu the new one. Why are we like this? It is because there is artificial. And look at it. 2 things I've discovered in all that is going on. The CBN allegedly mopped up over 2 trillion.
Yes.
But printed about 300 billion.
Exactly. That was something I also noticed.
So when demand is more than supply, price will rise. That's why people are, and now you want all of us to go cashless, isn't it? The bandwidth.
But you know,
the bandwidth of many of the money deposit banks cannot take the volume of people who wants to make transactions, which is why their online platform were crashing.
And another thing again that I also noticed, I thought people that were returning all these huge sums of money, they will be questioned by maybe FCC and I say how they went about the money. But nothing like that. They actually just returned it and
no, because the situation has not been well managed. Initially, it was to arrest money launderer. Exactly. But what has been done now is that many of the money launderer now simply converted their old naira to dollar.
Okay.
They converted it to dollar, and now when they knew that new currency has come, they will now go to Bureau de change and exchange the dollar for new naira. So they didn't have to go through the bank.
But some people also, because we heard of one bank manager that gave one of these big people 250 million new notes and collected 300 million.
You see, 50 million, make me 50 million on top. That's they are trading with it. Have you not seen, even on Radio Nigeria Network News this morning? On Radio Nigeria Network News this morning, I was told that ICPC have arrested a number of suspects and all of that. You ask yourself. There was a bank that allegedly got maybe 50 million cash since December. Disposed only 5 million, kept the rest, and was trading with it. Inside, what they call round tripping. So
we are now having a situation where we have naira now at
parallel market. And where CBN should be blamed. About last week or last 2 weeks, CBN said, look, don't give people cash on the counter. Let everybody go and use ATM. Even at the best of time, ATM has been very, very inefficient. Very, very. Only about 30% of ATM installed nationwide have been working because even the so-called bankers are now owners of POS machines. So rather than stocking the ATM, they give the money to their fronts who operates POS at a premium. You get. So even in front of banks, you see POS operators. So when you go and they said there is network failure, what I found, there was a footage of money given to a particular bank. Did you know that they loaded it in the ATM, but they didn't remove the paper to cover. So there is no way you can display. So they will say we loaded, but just to remove the wrap, they did. So it was deliberate. But what made that possible is the scarcity. If you know that you want to do cashless, you have mopped up over 2 trillion. Then at least half of that trillion should have been printed,
Yes.
so that at least if there will be scarcity, it will be much. And there are people who have said, okay, you could even make it difficult for people to carry high denomination. So print only 200 and 100 and maybe 500.
Yes.
Don't print higher denomination, so that people will have issue, carrying it about. But all of this was not went to. They will not prefer to do online transfer. Because you remember when our highest denomination was 200, and to carry 1 million that time, you will need a sack.
Yes.
You get. But now with 1,000 naira, I can carry 2 million on me, and nobody will even know that I have any amount on me. So these are scenarios that should have been, and you could see how many of us were let down by the so-called redesign. Where I've seen somebody who just cooked the naira for 10 minutes with iPhone or whatever, for 10 minutes. He did it on a video, and it changed. They knew that the old naira.
But the figure did not change anyway.
the old naira, I don't know how people.
Okay, so we change it to.
Yes, he just cooked it for 10 minutes, and it came to blue, Baba blue.
Now, CBN said it's going to make food pronouncement on Friday. So what are we going to be expecting?
Friday is late. Friday is the 10th. Now, some political parties have gone to court to get an ex parte order, asking that the federal government should not review the February 10th, which means they are still looking at it from the point of view of vote buying. That at least Tinubu and Atiku will not have money. These people already have insiders. They have MDs.
Bank MDs, not managers. Bank MDs.
You think somebody like Tinubu will be dealing with branch manager of a bank? These are people who are shareholders in those banks who have majority shares. So if you have a majority, there was a time 2 individuals were fighting over control of First Bank.
Oh yes.
Is it Otedola and one other Yoruba man that nobody has heard about?
We didn't hear how it ended.
Nobody knew. But I'm telling you this. So if Otedola has majority share in First Bank and he has a sympathizer among the candidates, and he said, look, Femi, I need 2 billion. 2 billion. They will make it available.
You think they'll not? So why do you need 2 billion?
2 billion. Are you sure 2 billion will be okay? That's what they will ask. Even there are people who will reach out to Emefiele directly, and the money will even be from CBN. There are billionaires in dollars in this country.
Like what I keep saying, that the poor, they are so ignorant. When they were happy that, it's against Tinubu, now they will block it. I said, really?
Now, is this against Tinubu now?
I said, what? Against Tinubu? Okay, the billion van he had in his house in 2019, where did it come from? Okay, it was he manufactured it.
No, he bought it and was. It's
so ignorant.
People said ignorance is a place. The bottom line is that this has not been well managed. And this administration will go down in history as the one that have inflicted the worst pains on average.
But if they venture, like you just talked about the court injunction now, is the suffering going to continue?
It will continue, so definitely.
What should be the way forward?
The way forward is to go to court, quash that ex parte order, and say that going forward, there is no deadline for people to swap their old currency for new one. So people will spend the old alongside with the new. Anytime you bring the old into the bank vault, they will not push it out. They will not pay anybody that old one. That's how to bomb. That's how to mob. You don't put. You are not. I listened to Emefiele. In fact, I don't want to say something.
What did he say?
He was saying 100 days is enough for people to have this swap. Now, is it not clear to him? If there's the man, if there's a man that Nigerians, the most hated man in Nigeria today is not even Buhari, it's Emefiele. I'm sure those who never knew that there was a governor in Central Bank now know that there is one Godwin Emefiele who has inflicted the worst pain on them. And you know the irony. Now people are reading political meanings into this. That if Emefiele, who is an established card-carrying member of APC, who if he had been allowed to contest or did not chicken out eventually and have contested the APC presidential ticket alongside with Tinubu, and now assuming that he won, will he have introduced the designing of the line?
Exactly.
Will he have done
He
it?
wouldn't have done so.
He wouldn't have
He
done
wouldn't have
so.
done so.
You see, the law is for your enemy, the exemption is for your friend. And that's why El-Rufai has come out, many others, Ganduje have come out to say there is a cabal within the presidency.
So
Who do not want-
in a nutshell now, is Emefiele part of the cabal?
It will seem so. Or maybe under the control of those in the presidency. And I was on a TV program yesterday where I was saying, look, history has taught us one lesson. That somebody is a president does not mean he cannot work against the interest of his party. I don't have facts to support the fact that Buhari is working against the interest of APC. But I know in Syria, in Liberia, when Ellen Salif Johnson was finishing her second term, instead of her to support her vice president, who worked with her for 10 years, he decided to support George Weah of another opposition candidate. That's number one. Two, in Kenya, when Uhuru Kenyatta was rounding up his second term, 5 years, for 2 years to since 2020, when himself and Raila Odinga made up, he openly supported and campaigned for Raila Odinga as against William Ruto, who is his vice president.
Oh, yes, I read it in your column.
And that is to tell you that the fact that somebody belongs to is a president does not mean he cannot work against his party. For whatever we like, there is
We
what is
also
called
saw that during the
primordial sentiment.
Good luck ability, most of his PDP members, they were working.
They work against him. They worked against him. They worked against him. So, and we also saw that in US, where many Republicans worked against the interests of Donald Trump. So the people should stop being naive. In politics, it's only interest that is permanent.
Yes, just like in line with what you just pointed out, I think that is what the APC presidential candidate also said when he raised the alarm that the fuel scarcity and
was orchestrated. It was state managed. Because how could you? Now, Mele Kyari was on channels yesterday. I was saying that we have to endure this. He promised in the next 1 week. Next 1 week will be a week to election. And now, INEC chairman had to go and plead with the GMD of NNPC to say, please, we need fuel. We have over 1,000 vehicles that we have signed MOU with. Who needs fuel to fuel their vehicles to carry our personnel and election materials? Now, yesterday, INEC chairman had to go and beg the CBN government. You saw what the headlines are saying.
Yeah, we are seeing the pictures.
Begging that, look, some of our vendors don't have bank accounts. Now, the CBN governor has said, don't worry, Prof, we will make whatever, whether if you can't do cashless, we will make. So, outside of INEC, me as an observer, who wants to go and observe election, you as a journalist who want to go and, so you can trek to wherever you can. Is that fair?
So what happened to
the security agents? Let's even talk about the security agents. So they too should go. IG should go and plead with Mele Kyari. We need fair for our operational vehicle. Then the electorate, 93.46 million. You want them to trek. So what they are setting the state for is the election with the lowest turnout in history. Yes, from what I'm seeing, 2 weeks to election, we can still have the election. You get, we can still have, but the turnout, lowest turnout. It will record the lowest turnout. Maybe it's 10% that will elect the next president. And those 10% will be 10% who can walk to their polling booth.
Or maybe giving incentives. What they were trying to prevent.
10% who have been incentivized.
Yes.
5,000, 10,000. I saw a footage where cash was being given in the name of one of the presidential candidates to ameliorate the suffering. That's vote by any.
Yeah, it is.
But now, you are trying to, we, civil society, are pleading, we are advocating, people should not collect money. with this kind of suffering,
Who will not collect?
Winifred, with this kind of suffering,
Mm.
if I see somebody give me cash, I go collect.
But that's what one of the presidential aspirants said. He said you can collect, but vote for him. Don't vote for them.
But I won't vote anyway. I know I won't vote. So there's no fear of vote buying. But what I'm saying is that with the situation as dire as it
It
is,
is that.
it will take godliness of the highest holiness order for you to resist inducement.
Now, even the same point said, there's another story. Ogun, Ondo, Edo protesters storm banks, demand cash. And of course, you can also see on the page of the Punch newspaper the vandalized ATM in one of the banks. And protesters too. And
I
soldiers
think
on the
it was
streets
in
calling-
Ibadan that they burnt a police station.
Okay. So, is this one not a prelude to crisis like
That's
EndSARS?
another instance
EndSARS
that's
protest
what we
had.
are
That's what
saying.
I'm saying.
That's what we are saying. And somebody sent me a piece this morning about the social cost of all of this. That many Nigerians are now suffering mental health. Many Nigerians are now suffering depression. Because just imagine, I don't even have any money in there. So, assuming you have 50,000 in there, you cannot. Somebody was saying on one of the sister test stations this morning that in Kuba, he said in Abuja, from POS operator, he pays 6,000 naira to get 5,000.
Oh yes, that is how it is. 1,000 naira to one. Yes.
So that's
A colleague paid,
20%.
Pay
20.
2,000 for 10,000.
That's the same thing.
10,000,
2,000 for 10,000. That
10,000
means
naira.
20%
Yeah, 20%.
interest. Like without taking loan, no, you are not taking loan.
500 naira.
This is what you pay 200 naira.
Old notes.
Eh?
Old notes.
Who is still
5,000,
transacting
5,000.
business in April?
She just needed money now.
They should just not destroy this country. Not all of us.
So
can
what is the
count
way
that.
forward? Because
I've told
you
you.
just gave a point that we are going
See,
to witness the lowest turnout.
The lowest turnout
of votes
in
in
and
history
there
of this
will
country.
be, aside from that, I foresee, if the situation is not changed, these protests that are started in the southwest, if it escalated, it spread to Ore, to Benin. You know, we read in one of the papers that CBN in Edo has shut down.
Yes.
This is where they keep INEC materials. So if CBN shuts down, who will take the money to the FD, money deposit bank? So we are a situation that is brewing up. It's an unrest. It's a social unrest of gargantuan proportion. Social unrest of gargantuan proportion is what is brewing. And we have 16 days to election.
Just 16 days to go.
Just imagine the havoc that was wreaked within 1 week of EndSARS protest. Trillions of naira destroyed.
Now, following this cash flow is also the issue of fuel scarcity. Yesterday, we got report that the IPMA, that is independent petroleum marketers, they were actually threatening suspension. But a few hours down the line, they came out that that they were suspending their planned strike action. So let's see what the Guardian is saying. Guardian says Buhari cancels meeting with governors as TUC issues ultimatum. Buhari cancels meeting with governors as TUC issues ultimatum. Meet with Bagudu, Tambuwai, Emefiele, EFCC boss. Tinubu, bankers call for calm. PDP, hoarding of new naira news causing Nigerians pains. Protest rock on Do Ogun, Lagos APC suspense campaign. Now, let's talk about this fuel scarcity too. What is also happening? A situation whereby we didn't call it twin evils, just working hand in hand.
You can see that Tinubu has even mellowed with his rhetoric. He's now appealing for calm. It's now because I think he's being wary that raising tension will not help the cause of his campaign.
Exactly.
So, but the issue is this. This is why we are saying that it will seem this is a sabotage.
Yes. Because I can't just imagine that just few less, you said 16 days to election.
16 days now,
and
do the math.
100 days to the exit of the
president.
Of the party.
How would you? No, whatever will make an INEC chairman. I've been following election in Nigeria since 1999. This is my 24 years. of following through election, bumper to bumper, like Twitter. I've been following election for 24 years. I've never had any previous INEC chairman going to meet the GMD of NNPC to make fuel available. It is granted, it is taken, it is a given. Today, the situation is so there that now INEC has to provide its own water, INEC has to provide its own beddings, INEC has to provide its own toilet facilities, INEC has to provide its own electricity, INEC has to provide its own fuel to organize election. Because there will be activation of 8,809 registration area center.
But this one that federal government is trying to like, okay, please, appealing to marketers, independent marketers. So we are seeing a situation whereby once the 100 days is over, the present government is out. The price of fuel is going to like shoot down up the roof.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I keep saying
because
that
now
there
they
will
sell
be
at
no,
195.
there will
At
be
least I
no
bought
honeymoon.
195.
Maybe
Naira,
you
yes.
should have a boyfriend that is a boy.
No, I don't have the filling stations running.
It's okay. I was so glad. Imagine me, little me, being dancing because I could access fuel.
Me too. So
Because for the better part of the last 1 year, I've been buying at black market. It's God that has been helping my car.
yeah,
Because whether it's
we go
adulterated,
and queue.
say to buy 10 liters, I will still have to go and queue. See, the truth that has to be said is, whoever succeeds Buhari will not have an honeymoon.
Yeah,
There will be no honeymoon. And I dare say,
it's something everybody
I dare say, the person may even regret, why did I contest? Because the situation is so bad though.
And
What
said
is going on now is
that
palliatives.
because the situation is so bad that left to him, he would have even preferred the APC to come and clear what he did.
Is it not? Did you not hear him when he said that Tinubu will sustain his legacy?
I said no.
People are saying, oh, so this kind of legacy is what you want to sustain. So it's like that bad. The mood of the nation is such that I see what is happening. If I don't want to be uncharitable, the truth is, I foresee what is happening. Now, the problem is not about supply. There are enough supply. But the problem with fuel scarcity is that the supply chain is perverted. Now, we have 4 refineries that are not working. We were told that Port Harcourt refinery, for which this administration borrowed $1.5 billion to do turnaround maintenance, was going to be ready by December of 2022. Now they have shifted it to March. Now, March will be after election. Now, you now produce, you import fuel, and the ship berths in Lagos. And now, you have trucks from all the 36 states and FCT going to Lagos to lift fuel through articulated vehicles. When ordinarily you spend billions of naira or dollars in the 60s to build pipelines. You understand? To do pipelines across the major depots. So there is a depot in Mosemi in Shagamu. There is a depot in Ore. There is a depot in Suleja. There is a depot in which other place? All around. So now these depots do not have fuel. Fuel should ordinarily have moved through the pipe from Apapa to Mosimi to Ore to Suleja, because you have a refinery in Kaduna that should have served Suleja and several other depots. Now the boys have gone to vandalize the pipeline. At a time, the Minister of Information and Culture said this government, this Buhari government, has been paying 20 billion every year to repair. Exactly. And people are saying 20 billion every year. Where is the success? Where is the... Okay, if you spend 20 billion, why is it that every truck still have to go empty? Go empty from Abuja to Lagos, Apapa Lagos, to lift fuel. Now, some of them spend like 5 days before it will be their turn to because it's ticketing. So when you come, you get the ticket. Ticket will tell you the day you are to load. It's not the day you get to Lagos you load. There are people already on queue. So you see them on that Lagos-Ibadan expressway. For kilometers, they are queuing. It's when it is their turn, they move into the Apapa to go and load. And there are 2 loading points. From what I learned, there is Pinnacle, there is MRS. Those, it's not even NNPC. NNPC is borrowing, is loaning the storage facility of MRS and Pinnacle for them to so when the ship bets, they offload into those MRS and Pinnacle. Now, because of NNPC does not have its own storage facility. There's a Folawiyo tank, there's a Obat tank, all of them. If I Yuba Capital or as a tank, all of them have tanks in Apapa Wharf area. That is why there's a huge traffic congestion along that corridor. Now, NNPC, from what I learned, does not have its own storage facility, but it's the sole importer. So when it imports, it hires or rents or whatever the storage facility of this capitalist. So now, from about 2 weeks ago, it's from this Pinnacle and MRS that every truck across the country, from Makurdi to Sokoto to Port Harcourt, will come and load and travel by road. That is not good. The road where the bandits are operating freely, that is how they would not. And it takes an average of 2 days to now travel with the loaded products from Lagos to different parts. And you know, where you are supposed to have 20 loading points, you have 2. Definitely you've created challenge. If we were looking at the future, we should have known that there has been exponential increase in the volume of vehicles, in the volume of people demanding the use of PMS, because there is no electricity. I've drawn the nexus in my column in the Punch. I've drawn the nexus between lack of electricity and high demand for PMS, because the electricity has improved. Those who have to remove the head of their generator tank to go and queue for PMS will not need to do so. Those who are running grinding machines, who need diesel, who need PMS to run their grinding machine, will be limited. But now, in my neck of wood in Ibadan, the disco NEPA, let me call it NEPA. That's people who understand when I say NEPA. The NEPA lines are used to dry clothes because there's no light, there's no public electricity supply. So in my neck of wood, we have to run on generator every day. My mom was telling me that now they buy in my neck of wood in Ibadan about 360 naira per liter from fresh station, not black market. In Ibadan. Ibadan is adjacent to Lagos. So if they have to buy like that, because it's Ipman that Ipman will go and buy from the major marketers and come and resell. So it's not third party, there is not middlemen. So these are so that's why I'm not too optimistic again. I used to say, oh, let Dangote, if Dangote comes on street. Now, even if Dangote comes on street, Dangote does not have loading points across the country. Dangote does not have pipelines that you go and buy. You still go through that bottleneck, the distribution process, because Dangote is in the Lekki free trade zone. So when you go and buy, you buy 50 million liters. It's you that will come and bring your truck to offload, to load the product from there and move it to the different part. If the pipelines have been working, then trucks will just have been going to the depots to put the
or train too.
Or train. That's you remember we talked about train last week. If their cargo train could have moved those products, but look at boys also vandalizing the train sleepers and train tracks. So it's a catch-22 situation, quite unfortunate.
It is. We are actually in a dire situation, and it's only God. I learned that even they were resorting to prayers recently.
So we all need prayers, actually. We all need.
Oh yes, we do. Thank you so much once again, Chibueto, for your presence today, every Wednesday. I always look forward to having you in the program every Wednesday.
Let's hope I will be able to get fuel to call you next week. Otherwise, we'll do virtual.
Well, viewers, this is where we come to the end of today's program, Inside Nigeria. It was brought to you on Leadership Television. My name is Winifred Gogo, and I look forward to seeing you same time, same station tomorrow. Bye.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.